we Jains, as well as Hindus and Sikhs in India, share a common culture. And some aspects of the cultural celebration are having special food, gathering with family and friends. And each of us as panelists are, different ages. We grew up in India or the US, and we have our own different experiences. So what I'm going to ask, and I'll start with myself, is for each of the panelists to talk a little bit about our own experiences with Diwali, and then maybe share a favorite food that might reflect our understanding of how to celebrate. And I'll just stop for a minute to note that some of the things people are writing in the chat include different versions of Lakshmi. And I think a lot of us kind of felt a little uncomfortable with Lakshmi Pujan, thinking, well, we're supposed to be practicing aparigraha and asteya. We're supposed to be detaching from wealth. How are we praying? So I think that the discussion of different kinds of Lakshmi that Ruchika outlined and that Pratiksha elaborated on brings out how we as householders have to have a relationship with wealth and how to make it a productive one and make it a positive one and bring children into the world understanding good uses of wealth. So I thought that was also that's a very nice comment. Both two of the comments are related to that. So I'll just share my experience and then we'll see if more comes in the chat and then we'll go turn by turn to the other. So, I grew up in the US and I didn't have many experiences with Diwali. In the time that I grew up, there weren't a lot of other kids my age in school. We didn't talk about it in school much. We did have Jain Center, we had gatherings in people's home, but it wasn't until I visited relatives in Diwali that I really got a sense of how big a deal it was. Visiting relatives in Mumbai, where we all dressed up and people visited each other and shared sweets, I got a sense that it was like our version of Christmas in India. And later, as I came to understand and internalize our values, I associated Paryushan more with the reflection and the practicing of our values. And Diwali still was more of an external celebration to me. Now that I'm sort of thinking about it in the ways that we're discussing now, I see how it can be very meaningful. The light of knowledge is the thing that that binds together all of our different festivals, kind of trying to kindle that in a brighter way, and expanding our definition of ahimsa to include not only refraining from meat and eggs as we traditionally do as Jains, but refraining from dairy, refraining from leather, refraining from silk, refraining from actions that'll harm the environment, like I mentioned in the app that's been circulated from the Applied Jainism group. So for me, in my family, I've called my brother, called my parents for Diwali, extended family. We've shared wishes on WhatsApp, and now this feels like a celebration in itself. And it feels meaningful this year to have a way to really reflect on it. In terms of food, I come from, a very health-focused perspective, right? I'm a family doctor. I've been studying all about how whole foods, plant-based diets, that's non-processed or minimally processed vegan foods are really the best for our health. I come from a family where we have diabetes that runs in the family too. So even apart from the vegan aspect of refraining from excess sweets, from a health perspective, I try to really go with fruit and fruit sweetened items as much as possible. So I will share with you an item that I made this year, and I'll share screen and just give you a short description. And then I'll share with you a couple of other items that other members of the Himsak Eco-Vegan Committee also wanted to tell folks about it the last time we had a talk about this. And then I'll pass it on to the next person. So let's see if you can see this screen. Can you see the thing I wanted to share is poached pears. And this can be any kind of fruit, actually, whatever's available locally, but pears work really well because pears tend to be a little bit hard. And so to soften them up and have a nice warm dessert, all we have to do is slice the pears and cook them in fruit juice. You can cook them on the stove. You can cook them in an Instant Pot, which I do. You can add kind of spices that go with something sweet like cinnamon or cardamom. And then you just eat them and you can drink the juice. And there's a very wholesome, sweet, whole foods dessert So that would be my offering for a way to have a treat. And I know some families have children that only like fruit for dessert, and this I think would work well for those kinds of families. Now, for those of you that want other ideas apart from this, we've got a couple other suggestions from families. So Mohit Jain is a member of the Hinswick Eco-Vegan Committee, and actually he and his wife Shafali have 2 small children, and some of their favorite dishes might look to you like Indian restaurant food, but they're vegan. So instead of paneer, they use tofu. Instead of cream, they use some other cashew or almond type of or coconut based savory base to make this item, sort of a tofu paneer. And then also they make raita with a plant-based yogurt and add the usual spices and enjoy this type of main meal in their home with their kids. And then our host, who's helping behind the scenes, Christian, is also a member of our committee. And he's been vegan since 2011 for the animals, for the planet, and for his health. And he likes offering something that Indian people as well as Mexican people like, the combination of cayenne pepper and sweet. So there's a Mexican chocolate tofu pudding, which you simply blend together tofu, chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, chili powder, and sweetener. So sugar is the usual sweetener, but I've also made this with soaked dates as a whole food option. And people love this, and this is also a big hit because most folks tend to like chocolate. So I'm going to pass it on. That was my kind of food offering. And the next person I'd like to request to share maybe an idea about food would be maybe Ruchika. Should we go to you and see what you might want to offer?
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I have been vegan for 15 years, and rasmalai is something that I've missed a lot. And I recently learned how to make rasmalai, and I made it during Diwali. What made it sweeter, of course, was the fact that it is made without ingredients which don't come from any cruelty. So my family loved it. It's if you try this, you will realize that you really don't miss the dairy-based rasmalai. And it's very, very easy to make this. I was actually quite surprised. I thought it would be a very lengthy, tiresome process, but it was actually very easy to make it. So I believe people can take snapshots of these. This is the list of ingredients. And then this is the method of how you make rasmalai.
And we'll also put it on the website, the Vegan Jain's website, with your description.
Okay, that's great. And again, as I said, Jainism is always about internalizing of what we do. So one thing that we should take, from here, Diwali again, is we consume sweets, especially sweets during Diwali, and we should try and see how can we get that sweetness into our life and into the life of others. And one way is, because we enjoy these sweets with our tongue. So one way is to make sure that the language we speak is always sweet. We don't hurt anybody. We don't use words which will hurt somebody else, which will put them down, humiliate them. Instead, use our speech to uplift others. Do not criticize or neither boast about yourself. So that is a message for sweetness for Diwali. I hope you all enjoy this recipe.
Diwali from cultural aspect. So I grew up in India, and then I've been here for last 24 years now. And after I had kids, we really wanted to kind of bring that culture awareness, and we really wanted to have a way to celebrate, kind of building that cultural aspect of all these festivals. So what we started doing was there were like 10 families, and we started made a conscious effort that we'll celebrate those 5 days of Diwali, even during weekdays. And we started doing that for several years. And then it kind of went to celebrating over the weekends. But as Gina and Sunny, they both have said, it truly at that point was about food and partying and getting together. But I was vegan even before kids were born. Kids have been raised vegan. So for them, it was always an effort to make sure, and we always had vegan options for them. So I think that indirectly, even for non-Jain friends, it always inspired them to think of making vegan options for food that they would have not otherwise thought of doing vegan. So that's kind of how we're celebrating. And then also with my Karma Space kids, we would have Diwali celebration, like everyone will get together and they will all make vegan food. That was always a thing, like the food was always, all food was vegan. And as Krupali mentioned, every year, like we celebrate with friends, but this year I happened to be in Chicago, and my kids were just in the line, and we were there for the New Year day, and they were in the line, and they're like, oh, they looked at some food and they're like, oh, can we eat this? And then there was some person behind the counter, like, everything is vegan. And my kids, they had like a big smile on their face. They're like, that means we can eat everything here. We don't have to ask ingredients for each one. So that was great. So absolutely kudos to Chicago Center for doing that. And they not only do it for New Year, but they also do it for like 5 or 6 other days throughout the year. So that's fantastic, the way they are transitioning. And I just wanted to share a few recipes that are favorite things that my kids love, and it's quick because I'm always about like just something that I can put together fairly quickly. And we made this for Diwali a few years back. So it's not Indian sweet per se. Can you see the slide? Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
you can see it.
Okay. Oops. All right. Is this better? Can you just see one slide?
Yeah, we
Yes.
just see the
Yep.
chilled
Okay.
cocoa berry souffle.
Okay. So this was a dessert that we created for one Diwali, where we had our Diwali party and we created this. So it's pretty easy to make, but it was a big hit with kids. They loved it, and the way it was assembled was so much fun. So we're big, like my daughter and I, like we're a big chocolate loving family. So it was made with coconut cream with cacao powder and chocolate chips and strawberry and Oreo cookie. And instead of Oreo cookie, you can also use granola. So the coconut cream, as even Oroshi Auntie was mentioning, there are a lot of times like we can use those replacements, but coconut cream, you can get it at any store. And you put it in the refrigerator so to get the cream out of it. So you're not actually just getting the milk part of it. And then use a thick cream, add cacao powder, either maple syrup or brown sugar. You can even use dates, as Gina mentioned earlier. And then once that's mixed, for assembling, you make a layer of that. And then you put either Oreo's cookie or granola on the top, and then another layer of this whipped chocolate cream, and then top it with strawberries. So that was one thing that kids absolutely loved it. And it's called chilled cocoa berry souffle. This is the one where the sizzling plate is what you kind of heat up the plate. You put some fruits on top. And once it's kind of hot, you put scoops of ice cream and then drizzle chocolate. So this is like one of kids' favorite. It's super quick and easy to make. And this became one of our favorite dessert for like birthdays instead of even cake. So that is another one that I wanted to share that's quick and simple.